What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and welcome to episode 25 of my Sunday series, The Knife Guy. If you are new to my channel or you just came out of some weird corner of the internet and you have no idea what's going on or where you are, I'm a knife guy. I'm a knife enthusiast, knife collector, knife user. I really like knives. That's what this whole channel is all about. There are a ton of us knife guys and gals out there who we all go down our own unique path, but we all sort of, have similar experiences, as our paths sort of intersect, and a lot of us experience the same stuff. And that's what this series is all about. Basically, I lay out a whole bunch of stuff on my table, some stuff that I've already reviewed, some that I have yet to review. Some of this stuff is mine, and some of it it was sent to me by generous viewers for review, or from manufacturers or pass-run groups, things like that. And I tend to just sort of pick things up, flip them out, and fidget with stuff while you guys kick back, relax, and listen. A lot of these things are custom knives, and I won't be able to provide links, but some of them are knives that absolutely do have links. So if there's things that you're seeing here that you're interested in, be sure to check the comments section for links that you can get your hands on some of this stuff. What are we talking about today? So I've got this series that I've been doing, Quest for the Perfect Budget Knife, and I've had so much fun with that, and I've gotten such a positive response. And it has really, my love for budget cutlery has never gone away. But it's really been emphasized lately, and I've really brought my attention back to it. We all inevitably, if you become the enthusiast knife person, if you go down the enthusiast road, and some people don't, there's no problem with that. Some people just want to use their knives, and they're not concerned with all of these other features that build up this enthusiast market. But if you do, you inevitably go down this road where you're like, I really like the Rat too, but I've been hearing good things about Benchmade knives, right? It's not a good example. My bug out that's got a lot of custom parts on it. But man, they're kind of expensive. That bug out's like 118 bucks, but a lot of people are saying maybe I should bump up, right? So you bump up. And you're like, boy, I've been hearing really good things about what's a good example? So it's the Spyderco Shaman, but it's $180, right? Or the Spyderco Capara at $180, right? So you move up, you get into, oh my gosh, I don't have my new hinder out here. What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? What can I exchange out here? Sorry, Ritter Hogue. Everybody loves you. I love you, but we're going to exchange you. Can we make room for him here? Let's make room. Let's make room. Move things up and keep talking at the same time. But you guys get my point, right? You sort of evolve, and you find new reasons to justify more and more expensive knives, right? That's not the topic. But if you're like me, eventually, the most I've ever spent on a knife for myself was about $1,200. I don't know that I'll be doing that again anytime soon. There's diminishing returns on what you see in terms of value, whether it, from a utilitarian standpoint, but there's also a very real sense of diminishing returns in the sense of like what you're feeling like you get, your emotional response to the object, right? And everybody's cap is different. My buddy Jeff, who provides some of these cool custom pieces and really high-end production pieces, his cap is way higher than mine. I start to feel really bad, or start to feel really sick at about 600 plus. Hinders, now I can drop, well, I'm not going to pretend like I'm rich. I have to sell my other hinders to afford my new hinders, because the funds generated by this channel have to go right back into it, for reasons that I explained at the beginning. But when I purchase a new hinder, the reason you don't see my old hinders anymore is because I have to sell them. Anyways, everybody's cap is different. And some strange phenomenon occurs at some point after a certain amount of time. And I think people who are new to the knife world may not have experienced this yet, but I think a lot of you will. Those of you who have been at this for, I would say, if in the span of 2 years you've experienced the budget knife world, the production knife world, the high-end production knife world, the mid-tech world, and the custom world, you are experiencing this currently, or you will experience it soon. Anybody who's been in the knife world for a really long time and gone through all those phases, or even some of those phases, will know exactly what I'm talking about. For whatever reason, and we may have talked about this in some way, shape, or form before on a previous episode. It's hard to say after 25 of these, but for whatever reason, I find that I have a strange draw, like a sort of backpedal draw to budget cutlery that has been refined. Because when I started getting into this, this was the very best thing out there. The Rat 1 and the Rat 2 and D2, by a lot of people's standard. D2 steel, oh my gosh, you can get D2 steel for $42. Oh my gosh, I don't even care that the freaking scales are plastic, you know. And this is a great knife still, but it's very clunky versus a lot of the stuff that's out there, right? I mean, Tucson's making stuff like this for the TS49 for like, what can you get this, 60, 70 bucks? That's D2 titanium bearings, carbon fiber, garage stops. Oh my gosh. You know, it's not just that, but it's just my appreciation of a knife that costs so much less than what I'm used to spending here recently and is good, right? I mean, I have this new XM18 that I got. And I love this thing. I love it. I've been chasing this specific XM18. You guys saw the episode probably yesterday. I've been chasing this XM18 for a long time. Very expensive, especially with the titanium scale upgrade. But I still find myself sitting on my couch flipping this Kaiser Domen because I didn't know that it existed. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great little... I don't care that it's made in China. But it has so many elements that I love. It's such a great, simple little EDC knife. And I don't really have to care about it in my pocket. It wasn't ultra expensive. It's 40 bucks. G10, N690 steel. Should be easy to resharpen, you know. But at the same time, it has some elements that are indicative of a more expensive knife. Like, you know, really good fit and finish and that nice tumbling on there. You know, the attention to detail on the hardware, the shadow boxing. Little details that I enjoy in a much more expensive knife. But for whatever reason, shines so bright on a budget knife because it's a budget knife. The topic of today's video is the odd phenomenon of increased appreciation for a budget knife as you evolve in the enthusiast part of the knife world, as you spend more and more and more money. Now, sometimes, you know, this affects people in different ways. Sometimes people look at how well budget knives are being made now and they go, you know, how could anyone ever justify spending $1,000, $2,000 on, do I dare, oh gosh, that Shimwari, on a really high-end custom piece, you know, when I can get a really good knife for 40 bucks. Well, a really good knife, there, you said it right there. A really good knife for 40 bucks. Different for every single person, right? We talk about this all the time. It's not just utility that you're paying for in a custom knife, and it's also not just materials. M390 and titanium with good fit and finish and good action, blah blah blah, that can be had nowadays for, in some cases, under $200, right? Now there's a lot of things that go into cost, manufacturing, exactly. I mean, if it's a partial mid-tech, if there's handwork, where it's manufactured, if it's in the United States or not in the United States, all of those things, right? But there's also exclusivity, you know, whether or not we like it, there is exclusivity. You know, the person who's making it, I mean, especially, think about this from the perspective of a full-time custom knife maker. You may not like that his prices are thousands of dollars, but it depends on how long it takes to create each knife, the amount of, you know, work that goes into, if there's inlays, if there's complexity, you know, how many he or she is able to make in a given amount of time, and whether or not those costs cover the cost for the parts and you know, time. There's all of that, and then there still needs to be room for a profit, right? But a lot of times he or she's only one person, or they're a small team of people, right? So, you know, a lot of people may not like it. It may be frustrating. Like, it's so hard to get my hands on this, but you know, and even if I can, it's so much money. Okay, well, you know, a lot of times the answer to that is the custom knife maker collaborating with a production company like we or Riot and mass producing them, which then the other part doesn't like, wow, you know, the custom's better, and it's sad that all of a sudden these are now available to everybody, and it sort of pulls away from my feeling of exclusivity that I got from paying all this money for the cut. There's going to be infinite arguments on both sides. It doesn't matter. I'm kind of also straying away from the point, but for, you know, all of that chaos, amidst all of that chaos, it kind of, sometimes it brings me joy to step back and go, God dang it, I love the rat. It's just, nobody is upset about this. It's like, this is knife. Knife cut. Knife, you know, go dull. Knife needs sharpen. Keep using. You know, it's so straightforward. It just does what it's got to do. It's a tool. And I have such a sense of pride when I reach for that guy. We had hail damage. I had to file a claim. I live in Kansas, so surprise, we had hail damage. Not recently, a while ago, but I filed a claim. And I know, you know, I used to. My dad owns a construction company, so I grew up working construction. I can't tell you how many times I have peeled shingles off of a roof and redone it. But we're going to be doing that again. And I will, you bet your bottom, I'm going to have that guy in my pocket. And I love that, because this thing, you guys, I mean, those of you who've been up on a roof, right? Your tools have to be tough up there. There's nails sticking, the heads of nails are sticking up once you get the shingles off. The tops of shingles are super aggressive. You know, you're going to be sliding all over the place. Anything sticking out of your pockets is absolutely going to take aesthetic damage. You drop your tools up there, there's a good chance they're going to slide down the roof and mix all that grout and crap. You might accidentally step on it. You're going to be jamming that blade. You know, there might be times where I'm going to be fishing underneath a shingle to check, like, where's that nail? I can't find it, you know? And yeah, that's stuff that's abuse by a lot of people's standards, but there's a level of just pride and respect and just awe that comes with the ability to reach for a tool the same way you would a pry bar or a hammer and go, this is the tool I'm putting in my pocket for this, right? You got your tool belt. Now, I mean, you don't have to work construction to know what I'm talking about. This feeling applies to all of us in different ways, but when I put on my tool belt, you know, you've got your nails and your screws, you got your tape, you got a lot of times you have your screw gun and your hammer. That thing weighs a lot, but everything you've got up there, you're not concerned with dicking it up. It doesn't matter. You're going to be up and down the ladder. You're going to be rolling around. You're just grinding around. You know, the knife in your pocket, that pocket clip's you're going to be sticking out. You might use the knife, jam it into a piece of plywood just so it stays right there while you need, you know, use two hands. It might not actually be convenient to put this thing back in your pocket after you're done. It might be more convenient to just stab it into the plywood that you're on, and then go ahead and do what you got to do with your hands, and then pick the knife back up and go. You know, that's a rough environment, and this rat, despite being clean, has been in that environment, in and out of that environment many times, and I appreciate it for that. And for that reason, you know, the same feeling is applied to anything. I mean, I love some of these beautiful custom pieces. Oh, Jeff, this thing is insane. This Zeba, you know, I love this, but while some people might, would I take some of these $500, $600, $700, $800 knives, $1,000 knife, $2,000 knives, would I take some of these up there and risk screwing them up? No. No, I wouldn't. And for the less than 1% of you out there who would take either of these bad boys out there and risk screwing them up, you know, power to you. I respect you. But I'm not able to do that. But I'm also unable to stop feeding my urge to purchase expensive items that are, ironically, in their base form, meant just to be cutting tools. You know? Well, that's not fair. A lot of them are meant to be, you know, amazing examples of craftsmanship, you know? But it just makes me feel good about having options for, you know, budget knives. I'll get out some of my other ones here. You know, some of the budget knives that I'm using as an example there are not mine, but I'll give you guys examples of knives that I actually do break out and use for like whatever. Let me see here. Which other ones are mine? Oh yeah, the Tough Light. You can grab that bad boy there, and the Victorinox Cadet. So these are all knives. These are like my go-tos if I'm out, and I'll actually give, if I've got, like if my brother's here or I've got buddies that are helping us with whatever, I'll actually give them one of these. I'll give them a choice. The Tough Light, the Flat Iron, despite me not liking this knife, I do actually use it and beat on it. A couple of the Ozark Trail knives are like $5. My Victorinox Cadet, my Rat, of course, and the Tough Light. All these knives just get used, and none of them, there's absolutely no reservation with any of them. You know, I've got more expensive knives. You know, I've talked about this before. My most expensive knife that I actually will use and beat on is my Manix 2, and you can see there some use. But even still, you know, if I'm really getting down to it, I'm much more likely to beat on one of these guys. You can tell, right? Because I'm cramming them all together. Something I never do with a lot of these. I'm still more likely to grab this guy than this guy if I'm really going to go up on a roof. A roof is a nasty place for a pocket knife, you know. So you got to know, you got to really be okay with that type of environment. You'll find out which knives are your real beaters real fast in an environment like that, you know. You go camping, you know. I mean, pick your place. It doesn't have to be up on a roof. You know, for a lot of you, it's a different place. There's an area out there that will very quickly define for you, you know, which knives are the ones that you're really going to throw around. And realizing that, and at the same time having gone down this path from budget to production to high-end production to mid-tech to custom, having experienced all of that many times over, yeah, I can confidently say that it has ironically bolstered my respect for this new age of refined budget knives. Now, I think a lot of these have elements that we don't need. We have overemphasized the action of a knife, right? People freak out about the Gonzo FH12 being a $20 knife that, oh, it'll drop shut, that's amazing, you know, but that's not a feature that benefits you in utility, really. And a lot of people could make an argument. I can make an argument that it actually makes it a little bit more dangerous when you're focused on the task at hand, and that blade is so ready to come down on your finger. It's happened to me before, right? And I'm not saying that's good or bad thing. People who enjoy that kind of thing are wrong. No, I enjoy that. I enjoy so many odd little details of a pocket knife. You know, I enjoy all that stuff, and they're so beyond utility, but my love for the budget knife is so strong. And what I love about that is you guys also like that on this channel. You guys like to hear me talk about budget knives, you know, alongside the custom stuff and the production stuff. But I am very interested to see where this budget knife world goes. That's the whole reason for the budget, the Quest for the Perfect Budget Knife series, and, you know, the hopes that my dream will be realized by some company. And I just love that. I want to mix, you know, essentially the feeling that I get from the Hinder XM18 with the feeling that I get from the Ontario Rat. You know, the ability to just pull it out and use it and just be like, I don't even have to think about it, I got this thing, but at the same time love it for a whole bunch of reasons that are so far beyond utility, you know. And sometimes they are one and the same. The fact that everything is set up so correctly, right? Kaiser Doman's a good example of that. It's set up so correctly that I love it aesthetically, and you know, in terms of use. I want that to all be together. And, you know, guys, I know that this episode's a mishmash of a bunch of other topics, but I feel like most of you are going to you're going to be able to arrive at this conclusion organically, or probably already have. You know, maybe I'm just putting the words out there for you, but I don't know. Let me know. Let me know. You guys always do. Have you experienced this? Do you get what I'm talking about? I always love to hear what you guys think. So glad you guys are enjoying this series. That's going to be pretty much it for today. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Knife Guy. If you did, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check that stuff out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on this Metal Complex logo right here and subscribe to my channel, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.